Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 794, and I think it should be fairly short because it will be about the Tuesday shenanigans here at Tenerife. And Tuesday was very much focused on a single highlight of the day, and it was the fact that Julian and myself, we had the full day for ourselves while Elizabeth, my wife, stayed in the villa or villa in the house that we were renting out, and she had full schedule of workouts and some exercises that she does for herself and other stuff that she had in the backlog. So we decided that we will give her space while also use the opportunity to do one of the main bucket list items from Julian's list, and that was Siam Park. And I mentioned Siam at I think around day 3, I believe, when we were passing by Siam area. So Siam is basically a very commercial area of Tenerife. It's not fully south, but it's kind of southwestern, a little bit up north, in between, I think, Costa Deje and Los Gigantes, so kind of in the middle. It's a huge area that is likely bought or leased, or kind of there's a lot of investment put into creating that sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but basically there's Siam Mall and the Centro Comercial, which is basically the commercial kind of shopping center that I mentioned exactly on day 3 when we were leaving Los Gigantes and going towards the villa or the villa up north. But also on the other side of the road, there's a huge Siam Park, which is a water park, but the water park with a lot of amenities like a lazy kind of stream, etc. The kind of artificial beaches, a lot of kind of places, secluded places where you can lay down on the sunbeds and enjoy the sun. So it's like a full water park experience that you go for a day, and there's plenty of stuff to do, which I will just explain shortly in a second. And then of course there are other areas that I wasn't aware. So like there's I think Siam apartment blocks or things like that. So there's whole estate based on the Siam name, and all of that seems to be held by some, I don't know, trust fund or maybe some bigger investor, because it really requires a lot of money to maintain it. Forget building it and getting return out of it, because it's a very expensive and touristic area. So it's definitely involving big funds, and it has some influence of Asian funds, I believe, because most of it has some Asian theme, kind of angled towards Thai, maybe a little bit of maybe not Philippines, but maybe Malaysia, but mainly kind of southeastern Asia, because all the motifs and the themes are there. So it's nothing, no secret that it's based on that. So yes, Julian and myself, we left and we decided to go by the motorway, so it will be faster. It was probably about 100 kilometers that we had to drive, so about 60, 65 miles until we got there. It was fairly quick, quite boring because that area when you drive kind of east and south of Tenerife, it's mostly kind of roasted and very dull, rocky, and also industrial area. So not much to see there really. But we got to Siam Park quickly. We didn't pre-book the tickets, albeit it was advised to do so. But it turned out that there were machines like in the McDonald's when you order just with the touch screen. They were literally the machines for the tickets, so we just bought 2 tickets and we entered the park. The tickets are not super expensive. I would say they are on average, the kind of average ticket. The one adult is about 43 euro, and the child, I think, under 12 years is about 30 or so. Then when we entered the park, there were lockers available, but you had to pay for the lockers, and I think one locker, the normal locker is about 6 or 7 euro, and the big lockers are 10 euro. And there were only big lockers left for us, so it was okay with us because we wanted to put the backpack in and all our shoes, etc. So we would take it anyway. So that's another tenner. So that's already, piling up, and then you go to a bar to get some food, some snacks, some drinks, and we bought some souvenir. I actually bought one of those waterproof holders that you hang by your neck, so you can put the phone in with the Siam Park logo. I wasn't very keen on that, but I wanted to have something to, be waterproof and kind of hands-free. So that was another, I think, tenner or so. And then we bought some souvenir for Julian. Fortunately, a bit practical. It's like a hoodie with Siam Park logo. It was another 27 or 28 euro. So all of those costs came up, but eventually it was a great day. We went first to that lazy kind of river, kind of simulated river. So it's basically like all of that is artificial creation, and it's painted and properly kind of propped to look like a tropical jungle or tropical area. So it was a nice time because it was sunny and warm, and we were kind of floating down that river. There were like waterfalls. We were having fun splashing ourselves and all of that. So, but it was a very dull. It's nice, relaxing float, but it's nothing water park style that you would expect from it. So we went next to one of those slides with kind of 2 levels, so you gain speed as you go. And Julian went first because I said I will kind of film him, so he went there, and he wasn't expecting it to be that fast, so his heart was pounding afterwards. But he went there again with me, so we went together, and then he went once more, and I filmed him this time not from the upper area of the slide, but from the bottom area. So that was nice. He did the 3 runs, and then we went for something that was like one of those pipes that you go. And there were different pipes, differently named from different snakes, like python, boa, whatever. And we didn't know if there's any difference. And a lot of people were going to that boa, but not many to the others. So Julian was like, "Let's go where the others go," and that was the, as they say, famous last words, because we took a tandem floater, so we were in it together. And to be honest, once we went to the pipe, it went dark, and the G-force, it triggered something in me that was like, okay, I need to trust this thing and just enjoy the ride and basically just survive. It was dark, fast, and pulling different kind of you know bends and corners, and eventually we went into the basin or a pool of water, and Julian said that he was on the verge of collapsing. So he's not going there again. And later on it turned out that we chose the worst of those slides, because the others were, there were two that were a little bit easier. There was one that only had like a one bend or something like that, and then the boa was the one that had the most turns, and it was the worst choice for someone that was actually afraid of it. And that was the almost the end of Julian's enjoyment at the park, because everywhere else we went, it turned out that it was either a even scarier ride, but some of them required 2, 3, or 4 people to go on a ride. So there was a restriction; you couldn't go alone. And Julian wanted me to go so he can film me because he was too scared. But those rides were 3 or 4 people at least, and I think one was 2 people, and Julian didn't want to go with me, so we couldn't enjoy that. So instead, we decided to relax a bit and go into the wave pool. It's like an artificial beach. I did say the word. That might sound wrong, but there was artificial beach with the bar and a lot of sunbeds. And normally in the morning they do artificial waves, and they are the biggest waves, I believe, in Europe, if not in the world. I think they are 3.3 meters high artificial waves, so they are the biggest so far, I think, or at least they were. Of course, there are bigger waves naturally created, but artificial, I think it is the biggest. And they do that, I think, only in the morning, and then they stop because there's a lot of families and all that stuff. So obviously they don't want to cause anyone to drown or anything like that. But they organize surfing and things like that on artificial waves. So it's a cool place. The food was terrible. We were really hungry, so we wanted to take something just to kind of satiate ourselves, but the food was terrible. Even Julian said like that's he wasn't expecting it to be that bad. Like McDonald's was a gourmet with in comparison. So we really regretted that we didn't just wrap up and go to Siam Mall and eat there, but we ate instead here, and then we went to Siam Mall anyway afterwards, and enjoyed some time there before we headed to Via and to La Orotava to my wife. So it was a great day out. We returned in the evening, so there was no more highlights to the day. I didn't fly with the drone, so there is no footage to share from that day. I think I tried to attempt some drone footage in the morning, but it didn't go too well. So there probably will be only picture in the blog. But if I find some footage, you might see it at the end of this clip when I say goodbye. So thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you again tomorrow.